Hello, can anybody hear me? Hmm. Okay, great. Okay. Hello, everybody. We are going to start in about 15 minutes. Once we get all the focus group members in here, we can make announcements and talk about the sensory package that we've got for, I think, 4 focus group members, just so we can explore it, give you instructions on how to deal with it, and keep it in mind while you are experiencing the show. I'm very excited about this. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. Hi, everybody. Hi. So let's get started on focus group stuff, shall we? Thank you, everybody, for making it. Let's begin with what you got in your packages. This time for the focus group, you were given 3 props and you were given 3 fragrances. Um, It looks like they are in numeric order. The first prop that you received was a toy car. The second prop you received was a piece of chalk. And the third you received was a bird. The fragrances were the first one was cumin, the second one was frankincense and myrrh, and the third one is a wax that is the scent of burnt tires. Many of the questions as instructed inside of the package. It says explore the items. How do they feel in your hands? What do they mean to you now? What do they mean to you during the show? For fragrances, what do you feel or think about when you smell each of them? Are they tied to a memory? Allow them to provide context for you during the show. If you've decided that you'd like to use it in chronological order, I would suggest not using a blindfold. Another thing I would also suggest is using your headphones for this show. Um, I did enclose additional sleep masks for the Blacklight Community Theater because there are several people participating over there. So, hi and thanks. So, let's begin. We are about to start the actual show in about 4 minutes. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. So, welcome to In Lak Ech. This is a series of works discussing the Latin American experience. This is the third show in our cultural empathy series. My name is Amanda. I'm the executive director of No Peaking Theater. No Peaking Theater is a nonprofit theater company that has a mission to create accessible and diverse works through empowering artists that belong to marginalized communities. Like I said, this is our third show in a series of free virtual shows. Next month, we are actually going to take each one of the shows that we've done each month and we're going to put them in a weekend block. So, if by any chance you missed one or two or all of the shows, there's another chance to see it or to experience it for free. By that weekend block, we will be selling sensory packages. So, anybody that is interested in actually having a sensory experience based on what they've witnessed regarding the focus group and the talk back, they are absolutely able to access that, purchase that, and have the show basically sensorially delivered to them. Next month, the block is going to be a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. I believe we're going to do it in chronological order. We're going to do Blackout Indigenous and In Lak Ech. It is our third focus group, which is why we've decided that we are going to start selling the sensory packages. Apparently, they've had a huge impact on how one experiences the show. There are other things in the works actually. There is a prototype for something really exciting coming up really soon. So I'll be keeping everybody in the loop on that. As always, the shows are completely free to the public and they will be on our YouTube channel so they can be experienced by everybody that cares to experience them. They are able to buy sensory packages and catch up with the shows if they would like to. They are able to listen to it very much like a podcast or just a soundscape in the background or anything else like that. We are creating a new type of theater that is actually just coming to the people, which is something that we're really trying to do with prototypes, with sensory packages, etc., etc. So let's look at what time it is. It is 7:58. As usual, if you decide that you would like to donate to us, we do have a Venmo. Our Venmo ID is No Peaking Theater. If you've decided you would rather donate to us manually through our website directly, you can donate on our website. Press the donate button after going to nopeakingtheater.org. What else can you do? You can sign up for our mailing list. That's also on nopeakingtheater.org. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. And we also have a YouTube channel. if you are watching this and you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel because we'll be doing a lot more video content. We will be doing virtual shows after next month's block weekend. We do plan on specifically trying to develop a new work that will be virtually produced and premiered. So every little bit helps. Every little subscription, every little like, every little view, it helps every time. So please consider doing that. Okay, it looks like everybody's here. And we are at 8 o'clock. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin the show, shall we? I presume that your sensory objects are out in front of you, that you're comfortable, that you're ready, that you have your headphones in, and you're ready for the long haul. The show is, I believe, 40 minutes today, and you may now put on your blindfolds and enjoy the show.
Billion years ago, there was a singularity. Everything imaginable that was ever to exist, the overwhelming diversity of matter, from atoms to suns, grains of sand to the unfathomable vastness of galaxies. Everything in between, even space itself, was contained in a solitary, infinitesimal, and unified point. Things,
in other words, were a lot less complicated. But also, there were no things, just a thing, and oneness, uniform, united by its limitless potential. All was one. There was peace and comfort and silence in the universe, because there was no universe. Then, there was an unimaginable cataclysm,
an explosion. The earliest memory I have is of a car crash. My own personal Big Bang was framed within the picture window of our Midwestern house, a most somber shade of yellow, situated on a corner that housed a tavern and a ballet studio. I was 4 years old. I remember the cars colliding with elegance in what seemed like slow motion. The chimes of shattered glass, a collapse of 2 metal accordions, tires shrieking at the inevitability of it all. I saw the guts of each car spill out into the street as my mother entered the room asking, "What happened?" My first memory in life is of a car crash, and you can say I was born of a car crash. My father, a first-generation Mexican in a Midwestern town. My mother, white, that is, some vaguely European mix, the specifics lost in the generational struggles to reach the lowest rung of the middle class. My mother's parents dreamed their daughter would become a nun. At 16, when she announced she was pregnant, you can bet my grandpa was hoping it was an immaculate conception. The conception was far from immaculate, and my mom wasn't cut out for a career in Catholicism. My dad, 17, well-liked, if unspectacular student, he was on the wrestling team. He worked hard to fit in. It was 1969, the summer of love, the year they put a man on the moon. On Earth, my parents decided to get married and to have me. So I had a brown dad and a white mom. The collision between my mother and father was always a source of confusion for me. From the very beginning, there was a number of unanswerable questions. Wonder Bread or tortilla? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or Villa Alegre? Norman Rockwell or velvet paintings of bullfights? Compounding the problem was the fact that my father wanted to make sure we didn't stand out. Spanish was not spoken in our household. Assimilation. He wanted all to be one. What happened instead was I grew up with this overwhelming sensation that I was from another planet. I had deduced that my parents were not my real parents. I believed that my real mom and dad were from some other faraway planet and on a visit to Earth had forgotten, had left me behind. And when my Earth parents stumbled across my adorable little self, well, how could they resist? Some early childhood heroes: Superman, Spock, Robin Williams as Mork from Ork. In the opening moments of Mork and Mindy, when Robin Williams breaks out of the egg, I recall having this feeling of complete empathy. Yes, I know what that's like. I was a decidedly new and strange thing altogether. The arrival of my sister, Stephanie, added the fuel to the fire of my alien child theory. You see, from the age of 1.5 to 4, she spoke in this strange language that no one but myself understood. It was not English or Spanish. It was, in my mind, the language of my real parents, of my home planet. Mom, she's hungry.
What does she want?
Do? She wants McDonald's French fries and a hamburger. For 3 years, I was my sister's faithful interpreter, the sole link in communication between my sister and the rest of the world. One day, her language just evaporated into thin air, and my sister spoke perfect English, as if languages were merely a coat that one could slip on and off at will. Unfortunately, none of this alien language of hers survives, save one word, which I still remember. Lulu. Lulu meant house. Things got real interesting when we would visit my father's mother. She came to America in the late 40s and never learned to speak English. A conversation between my grandmother and my sister would take an interesting chain of command. My grandmother was always in the kitchen, cooking for the endless streams of relatives that always filled her house. She would ask my sister a question.
¿Qué es tu comida favorita?
What is your favorite meal? The laba vu du fu. McDonald's French fries and hamburger. Papas fritas y hamburguesas de McDonald's.
Dios.
My grandmother died in 1990, and the two of us never had a direct conversation with each other. Despite this fact, I was told that I had been her favorite grandson, and that she wished me to be a pallbearer. It took 8 years for the collision between my mother and father to end. The divorce was quick and painful. Each picked up the pieces of the wreck and did their best to start completely new lives. About 10 years after my parents divorced, I divorced my parents. And ever since the divorce, I've been trying to come to terms with myself, trying to figure out who exactly I am. Over and over again, I've attempted to strip away all the tangled details of my life, having tried to get at the essence, the root of my identity. And when it all has been whittled away, I'm left with a car crash. My first memory in life is of a car crash. You could say I was born of a car crash.
Coffee black, saxophones plant neon jazz and panting night as you run in the bush and over parched-lipped streets, burning with nothing. Dust rises up after your feet like a round of applause as you fly past fruit the size of trees.
A crosshair caresses your back, draped in sweat, a lover's gaze beckoning you to bed. The dominoes cast themselves as they fall into land like dilapidated dissidents around leaning palms, while lamps and rum are spilled in an ugly spat that all the neighbors will know about.
In the haste of nocturne, the tangled laces of shoes impair you more than dragging parachutes. As night lays flat over the shaded pastels of arcades, like a woman on a canvas. The fever of humidity precautions out of you like the shouts from balconies' mouths that will circulate plazas of blood-splattered sun.
Swinging dresses brush up against asesinos and guajiros, gossamer veils and gauzy shrouds in solitude and in crowds. Abbreviated flames of gunshots flare briefly like the tips of cigars, instantly a smoke screen of windpipes and shrieking birds of prey. Sleek, faint cars flipped with tables and seats, over which you and the evening orchestra leap.
You find that your spine aligned like a spiral stair, shivering with dances, sways in defiant motion, keeping time with spiders in leather soles. The seesaw mechanics of wah-wah horns echo the ruin lapping your heels in starved asylums of old Spanish stone. And propaganda peals from gramophones arrayed like warped flower bells raised by speeches and sermons.
The molecular sound of maracas mirror the promise of shrapnel rattling inside your head, lead pellets scattering in an amber glass cape, a hurricane held up to your eye.
Intent on atomizing you, the firing squad's signature is anonymous. Its ink, imminent. Note for note, everything is an equation. Duration rate, your time on stage, a strand of DNA.
Nevertheless, in a city blindfolded by its own bandages, sequestered in sand and besieged by the sea, the visage of beauty moans from El Malecón, as if it was a breath caught in the throat of a mirage, always on the point of being extinguished.
Somewhere, someone wraps a little ribbon around a Santera doll, a Lázaro with his dog, or a sable princess, and offers it a plate of food they don't have. To placate it, they pontiff on a wooden high chair.
They find it funny that you read today and today the same way, that your words become marbles in disarray. The fragments you read are barely visible, like snatches of sunlight imprisoned in tropical rain, or a doctor cycling through the dreamless street with a real wage, or a computer screen-free of barnacles. Behind you, a rockstar in a beret gazes nowhere intensely,
peeling with the plaster stamped on parliaments and ornaments. Every day in class you recite that you will be like him, but you can't ride off on a motorcycle and drive along the spine of America. No, your circuit is closed off and bound for an endless revolution. And as you look for a moment into your cup of coffee, as a little island of cookie floats up,
and you stir your spoon again and again until the spill is an odyssey around the saucer.
You're going to be late for school.
When they glance my way, they see a black woman with long hair.
Is that your real hair? They ask me. Can I touch it? Go right ahead, I say.
Endless amount of fingers have touched my hair. And every now and again, nails graze my scalp searching for tracks.
What are you? Would I simply reply, a human on planet Earth, I'll be branded as rude. Instead, I reply,
Haitian American. But your hair is so long. I should clarify. Well, my mom's side is West Indian Haitian, and my dad's side is Caucasian Haitian.
But I'm Haitian American. They step
back. I see their eyes scanning my skin, categorizing me, and seeing if the answers are believable.
Haitian, they think? Haiti? They've heard of it before. It's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Their eyes
ask what they do not see. Do you speak Haitian?
Yes, I speak Creole. Is that like French? It's a mixture of Taino, Indian, Portuguese, Spanish, French, English, and West African.
Questions about my identity, my history, my ancestry. Where is Haiti?
Questions with such intrigue because their eyes need to make sense of what they see.
For I am an anomaly. I take pride in my complex background. First generation Haitian American, native of New Jersey.
My ancestors were once slaves captured first by the Spanish, followed by the French. The first independent nation of Latin America and the Caribbean to become independent.
They may share an island, but proudly they wave their own flags. La Union
fait la force. Unity makes strength. You see, the question will never stop.
For I stand proud to know that my history bleeds across the Caribbean seas.
My identity, sometimes checked in the simple category black to the untrained eye, but other to me.
I'd rather remain a mystery for when they ask me, is that your real hair? What are you? Well, I am but a human.
I proudly answer, I am a Haitian American.
As I wait for the questions to roll in.
Growing up, my daily routine included the staging of pharaoh dances with pariahs. Those who criticized my shadows and unkept appearance as if skin could be chosen. I longed for safe passage from my multicultural conflict of interests along the dark side of this chain-linked fence on race relations. As a café con leche stand-in for a child who appeared in an anthology to Coffee Beans and Creamer, I first looked to my parents for all the answers. They never relented in their dedication to social witness protection. I wondered how they decided to take turns redacting the antiquities of my cultural inheritance, unintentionally becoming the estranged prodigal son of my ancestors. I recorded over these memories of mulatto surprise, and next looked towards the sea, to stencil in the empty spaces of my ethnicity. Although unable to swim, my eyes danced around its splatters and uneven waves, hoping that the sirens would serenade me with my half-histories. I sat atop the marble sand, adrift from the kindred spirits who have defined me. In those fleeting moments, identity was merely a four-syllable word, floating against the current. Here, the brine mixed with caffeine to usher in a sojourn beneath my melanin sheath. My hair follicles are temporarily granted immunity from the trade winds that blow in utterances from my past. Voices that questioned my dedication to bachata breakbeats and cultural assimilation. Fearing that neither the fence nor the sea wanted me, I became a black oak leaf, swept away by the incoming breeze.
me encontré.
Claro que te encontré. Did you think that your tyranny wouldn't come to a close? That you would remain unchallenged your whole life?
So that's what gringos think of time. Desagradecido. Did you forget what I did for this country, muchacho?
What did you do? Damn it, what did you do besides kill and destroy innocent people in your efforts to become some god that you never were? Sin vergüenza.
I served my country all my life. I have served this country when Hurricane San Zenon struck la ciudad de Trujillo in 1930 and destroyed our very capital. My money and my time into this city, routes, monuments, landmarks, todo en el nombre de mi país, la República Dominicana. What have you done for anyone?
I fought for the belief of freedom in my country, to avenge all of who did.
You did nothing for the Dominican Republic, gringuito. I gave our people economic prowess. I gave those who lost their homes a new one. I look after my people. During the American past, a villain who came to destruir la República Dominicana. I am the greatest hero this country has ever had. All I asked was for respect, el respeto que yo propio gané.
Respect? You killed my grandfather, sent troops to slaughter my best friend, murdered my wife. Do you know all of our Haitian brothers that you killed? Innocent little girls like the Marivel sisters that you raped. You made us rich in economics, but poor in societal progression. You forever tainted this country's reputation, maldito loco.
What do you know about any form of struggle? You've let to go to America with your lambong father. You never did anything with this place, gringo. You just kill people. Kill. Just like I did. Instill a sense of respect. You know why you killed those Haitians? They brought drugs into my country, raped my women, created crimes. For my people, you murdered those possible fathers that worked for me for only your venganza. You chose this life. Those are your consequences.
You liar! You killed all of those Haitians because of their skin. You felt it was impure of your people to have dark skin like they do. You are ashamed of your country's lineage. It's why you hide behind creams to brighten your skin. You're nothing but a fake Dominican. Those people had nothing to do with you. They never had a chance.
Yo soy la República Dominicana. This country is nothing without me. Y dime, ¿tú piensas que con todo lo que te ha hecho hoy, que tú vas a caminar sin nada pasarte mañana? Do you think the man that succeeds me will do as much as I have for this country? Stupido, you have no place here. Run to the Americans while you can.
Coño, yo soy dominicano. I was born and raised here. All that you've done for this country was for yourself. All your money that you stole from your people went to the mouths of all your illegitimate children while you declared martial law to enslave your own people. You know nothing about being a leader or anything about this very land.
Dice quién. ¿Quién eres tú? Para decir quién es un buen líder. You are the same man who did errands for men too cowardly to inspire the movement themselves. It's why they're all dead. Your life has no meaning. Look at you. You're a fool, eh? So vienes aquí dressed like an American with the same mindset of those bastardos. Yeah, you claim to be from here, but show no evidence of such.
You know, for the entirety of my life, I never knew exactly where I stood. On one hand, I was born light-skinned with fair hair. On the other hand, I was born in the Dominican Republic with an attitude and Latino spirit too strong for average white American. Disrespected and discriminated everywhere I went. I never found a true identity, and I never knew where to fit. I know what I am, and I know what I represent now. The country I was born in was one of life, freedom, and family. Now it's one of fear and gluttonous pride, under an insecure dictador who would kill his brother if he spoke ill of him. This is my home, and I'm fighting for it now.
You will never feel here, Ricardo. Give up your fight.
You never were one of us. You destroyed the freedom of the people, but not their spirits. I will live to see your terror end and the Dominican Republic return to a free country. A country liberated of dictators. I'll always be more of a hero to these people than you, Trujillo. Buena suerte en la otra vida. Jefe, may we live better lives.
I was a child of the 60s. I heard words like spick directed at me. In the 3rd grade, I received a not so high grade of C- on a test. I was upset. After school, I saw my teacher walking to his car, Mr. Cullen. I'll never forget that name. He was walking with another teacher. Suddenly, I built up the courage to chase after him and asked him how I could fix this. I was 8 years old. He dismissed me, and as I started to walk away, I could hear him say to the other teacher, "What difference does it make? She's going to have 10 kids by the time she's 20 anyway. It's just what they do." They laughed. My uncle Tio Julio would take me to Newark's main public library on most Saturday afternoons. I remember how much he loved to read. I told him that I wanted a book about babies. He asked me why. I told him because I'm going to have 10 by the time I'm 20. You should have seen the look on his face. Now, I didn't know where babies came from when I was 8, nor did I know how I was going to get them. Maybe some would be left at my doorstep. Maybe some would fall from the sky, or maybe, like in the cartoons, some would be delivered by a stork. My uncle asked me how and where I heard such stupidity. I told him from my teacher. Tio Julio did not tell my mother about this because he knew how much it would upset her. He was a very congenial man, so he handled it. He went to the school. There was a meeting where afterwards Mr. Cullen was allowed to go back to his class to continue to mold the minds of the future. My uncle never told me what happened in that room. Family back then did not sit with their kids and say things like, "Sweetheart, sometimes adults do silly things." No. They just handled it. That Saturday, my uncle checked out some books for me. Books about historian and accomplished Puerto Rican writers and poets like Dr. Selma S. Arigotia, Dr. Miguel Algarin, and my favorite, Luisa Capetillo, Puerto Rico's most famous labor organizer who fought for workers and women's rights. You know that saying, smoking marijuana could lead to heavier drug use, like cocaine? The marijuana my uncle rolled in my head were books which led me to my stronger drug of choice, writing. Thank you, Tio Julio. And Mr. Cullen, wherever you are, I got married first. I had my first son Michael at the age of 25 and my second son Joseph at the age of 27.
Hello. And that actually concludes our show in Lak Ech for today. I would love to start doing a talk back very soon with our focus group members. I would love it if you guys could join. Please use the link that I put in the comments in order to cue yourselves in so we can talk about how you experience things, how you felt about the show, etc., etc. For the time being, I'm going to wait a couple minutes just so everybody can collect themselves, get a drink of water, do something like that. Just take a breath and come back to me in a couple minutes just to talk about the show, what they experienced, and how they experienced the sensory elements, okay? Alex Pogue says, great job to everyone involved. Thank you so much, Alex. Oh my goodness. This one was a bit shorter than normal. I believe we've got the full show was about 30 minutes. We did put an open call out for Latin American experience piece. And I don't think we received any submissions, but that's totally fine. We always add something new to every show that we can. So we'll have something by the next weekend block. It'll be great. As you can see, there was a myriad of different experiences that are defined by the term Latin American. So there are so many different perspectives, ethnicities, viewpoints, geographical locations involved. Oh, look, we've got Blacklight. So let's talk to Blacklight and see what's going on regarding the sensory items. Again, if you were not here to prep for the sensory items, all focus group members were given 3 props. The props were a toy car, a piece of chalk, a bird, and then they were also given 3 fragrances. The 3 fragrances were cumin, frankincense and myrrh, and burnt tire scented wax. Okay, so let's bring on Blacklight.
Oh, there we go. I don't think it's gonna work. Hi. Okay.
So in order to take turns and avoid echoes, what I'm going to do is I am going to just let you have the floor by talking about what your favorite scent was, what your favorite prop was, and what your favorite piece was. Ready? I'm gonna shut up right now. Right now.
Okay. So I know for me, I think my favorite scent had to be, I was torn between the frankincense and myrrh and the burnt tire scented wax. But I think I felt like more of, I guess, a connection with the burnt tire scented wax. I don't know why. I kept wanting to smell it. Like that was my attachment. And then the chalk for me was something I was attached to as far as like the props for me. How about you?
For me, I really connected with the cumin. It's my favorite spice, hands down. If I could make it with everything, I could. It reminds me a lot of like gumbo. And my auntie used to make gumbo like for very, very special occasions for us. And the smell of it really reminded me of her in the kitchen cooking it. And I really like the bird.
Yes, because the bird, we're from St. Louis, so the cardinal bird is our state bird. So that is a close attraction. I know for me, I really liked there were two scenes that I really liked. The one where, I don't have the names, but it sounded like they were in war and the man was dying, and he was talking about how he wasn't doing right by Dominicans and Haitians. Like that one.
I was gonna say that
struck a chord for me.
Yeah.
And then also the lady that was, the little girl that was told by her teacher that, you're gonna have 10 kids by the age of 20. And it's like, well, look, I did it, and I strived and I did my thing because my family, was aware of it, and they showed their daughter, their niece, that our culture, beyond the stereotypes, have definite meaning, and we do more than just have children. And I think that scene was the most admirable to me. That one struck a chord with me the most.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the one with between the Haitians and the Dominicans, I thought that was kind of very relevant today, in the way people think about those two cultures, and I don't know, it was very powerful to listen to, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm really excited. I'm so glad. So the Trujillo scene is actually like a historical fictional fantasy of his dying moments. Trujillo was actually assassinated by revolutionaries, but there's no real historical depiction of how exactly it ended. I don't even think that if you look it up, I don't even know if you know who specifically killed him because he was abducted by a group of people. So this was actually written by a very young man. He was only 18 at the time, and he wrote this historical fiction piece of this like fantasy of like the last interaction that Trujillo has with somebody who is Dominican. So his name is Christopher Garcia. He's amazing. He went to Dickinson High School here in Jersey City. So hey, but yes, very talented writer, really amazing student, and just had an amazing imagination. I just couldn't let it down. Like I wanted it to be a straight up movie. It's like half movie, half video game almost. He has a way with words when it comes to stuff like that. Okay, so it looks like we've got Autumn Silvas also in the focus group, so we're going to add her. So bye, Black Light community. Hold on. Okay, let's add Autumn. There we are.
Hi.
Okay, so in order to avoid, I'm trying to avoid the echoes. In order to avoid the echoes, favorite prop, favorite fragrance, favorite piece. Go.
I feel like I'm going to be echoing Blacklight a lot here, but it's okay. I love Blacklight community, so it's good. So my favorite scent was the cumin as well. It really reminded me of my abuela and just her cooking. We like literally have a jar called Grandma's Spices in our kitchen. We have like 8 jars of them, and it's like saffron, cumin, it's a bunch of stuff. I don't know, it just reminded me a lot of that and just like being in her kitchen and which I wasn't in that often, but when I would get to see her before she passed away, just her cooking all the time. So that one was my favorite scent, hands down. My favorite props were the chalk, and I also liked the cardinal. I liked the chalk a lot because I liked when the scene was talking about just the language where the scene ended with like stirring the coffee and it spills out into the saucer and like you're going to be late for school, and just like feeling the chalk. And I don't know, it just reminded me of childhood. And then I liked the bird because it felt really both fragile but like resilient in like an interesting way. Like it was like, yes, it's a fake bird, so it's not like gonna break, but like it it's very fragile at the tip. And then like the actual bird itself, I was just like, this bird can get through anything. And I don't know, it just made me feel okay in 2020, if that's even possible anymore. So I liked the bird. The bird was nice. It was a good touch. My favorite scenes were the same as Blacklight Community. I'm sorry, I'm ripping off of you both, but I really like that scene. Like I remember growing up and all of my cousins would have children like 14, 13, 16, like, and just like a stigma of like differences there where it's like the white European side of my family looking really down on that, and then the Latinx indigenous side of my family being like looking down on our family for not having kids that young. So I don't know, I just really connected to that, and her talking about like, I like, screw you, Mr. Cohen. Like I am meant for more, I'm meant for greater, and you don't get to decide anything for me. And how you believe that you could for so long is just stupid, basically. So I really connected with that scene, and I also liked the Trujillo scene. I just thought it was really powerful. I like fire sounds. That probably sounds really bad, but like, I like fire sounds, so that in the background just like really made me connect. I'm gonna stop talking now because I feel like I sound a little like a psychopath.
No, I think I just want to say absolutely. Fire sounds are definitely a soothing thing. They are a real thing that people listen to for hours. I am included. I listen to ocean waves, thunderstorms, and fire sounds definitely, easily. So that's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. Um, I am so glad everybody is into this Trujillo scene. That's so great. The person that actually wrote the last piece about being in school and being treated like that, her name is Yvonne Hernandez. She is an amazing writer. I met her as an Info Color alumni, which is a collective of women of color writers under a nonprofit, well, no, not a nonprofit, but an art company called, or performance arts company called In Full Color. Um, she has a lot of amazing stories. She has a lot of amazing stories about pretending to be Wonder Woman. She's got stories, I mean, out the wazoo. She is absolutely a writer, and she tells her story in a personal narrative. It was insane that she even dealt with something like that, but I was floored by how it actually happened. You know, this idea of handling things. There is no real resolution. Do we know what happens? I mean, the teacher obviously doesn't get fired. Was it handled? Was it not handled? Was it out of everybody's grasp? I really like the ambiguity with that. Um, who was the other person that, oh, the Haitian American piece was also written by Jenny Edouard. She is an amazing person that I think her passion is community and music. She puts together music festivals and concert benefit things like that. She is, I believe she kind of toggles between Georgia and New Jersey all the time. So she is constantly traveling. She is constantly doing things. Um, and she also has a very, very strong voice when it comes to what's going on with her experience. She does have an amazing amount of hair. It's beautiful. If you ever meet her, you're going to be like, I get it. But I also really liked the idea of trying to juxtapose the Dominican Republic and Haiti together, because I don't think that people think of it as Latin American, but Haiti is part of Latin America. It's right there. It is considered Latin American, and I think we constantly dismiss that. And with the tensions, especially that were put in place by Trujillo and his white supremacist agendas, I really love the idea that we include that, we speak to it, we talk about the experience, and we like legitimize all of that, because I think that if you asked somebody if Haiti was Latin American, I think the common misconception would be no, it's not, but it absolutely is. So, yeah, I have somebody else on queue for stream right now. I see Ileana. So, let's ask Ileana what's going on. Thank you, Autumn. I'm going to take you off stream and we're going to add Ileana onto this. Ileana, the questions will be favorite prop, favorite scent, and favorite piece. If you're not part of the focus group, then I guess your favorite piece and talk about why. Okay, let's add you.
Okay. I got a tour. So I'm not part of the focus group, so I didn't get to see the props and the scents, although I kind of want to because they seem very interesting. So I might ask you about that later. But my favorite scene definitely had to be the Trujillo scene, especially because I am Dominican. So that one held it was very strong for me because the first time I ever met someone from Haiti, I was on a bus and he was my bus driver. I told him I was Dominican. He was like, "Oh, we're right next to each other." He didn't seem like it wasn't like a bad thing. But I never knew, like I knew Hades was a place. I didn't know where it was, and I didn't know it was so close to the country my family came from. And this year, actually, is when I learned all the history between Hades and the Dominican Republic. So it was shocking to me. It was like, but it also made a lot of things make sense to me from questions I'd ask my family about like race and stuff. And I kind of understood their answers because I kind of understood my past more. So getting that little scene of something I kind of just learned myself is very powerful for me personally, being that I am of Dominican descent. So
That's amazing. Thank you, Ileana. Yes, I was like, I don't think you forgot a focus group package, but yes, if you would like one, we will do that for the weekend block. I'll definitely send one your way. All you got to do is email me your address and I will put together one for you, okay?
All right.
Yeah, thanks. So we've got Hanan on here as well. So let's ask Hanan how she felt about things. Hanan did in fact get a sensory package. So favorite prop, favorite scent, favorite piece. All right, let's add Hanan. Here we go.
Hello. Oh, okay, I hear myself. Okay. So, first of all, I love receiving the sensory packages. It's like receiving a gift in the mail. It's great. My favorite scent was the third one, the burnt tires one. I didn't expect to like that one because when you hear burnt tires, you're probably not thinking that's gonna smell good. But I liked that scent. My favorite prop was, it's a tie between the toy car and the bird. At first, I was just like playing with it. I'm like, okay, hold on, this is for a show, but it's still cool. And I'm tied, so I really liked the one where the guy was talking about him being in a car crash, and then that's when I had I would switch over the props I was holding. So when that came on, I was holding the toy car and realizing there's more to this than just this car. Like there's a story behind it. And my other favorite was the one where both of the girls were claiming I'm Haitian American and how they would answer questions, but it would seem rude if they were just like, well, like this is what you should know already. And it was really nice to just hear that like they're claiming what they are and they're proud of it. So I really liked those two pieces. I couldn't choose between those two, but those were my favorites.
Thank you so much, Hanan. So that actually concludes our talk back. If you want any other information on what we're doing and how we're doing it, we are planning a weekend block where we have all 3 shows happening all weekend. we would be doing it on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, same time. I would encourage you to bring others into it and invite other people. We will be selling sensory packages. There will be no more focus groups, so hopefully you would buy a package if you haven't had the chance to experience it yet. And we do have exciting news about a prototype, basically kind of bringing the show fully to your living room. So I'm very excited about that, but we're going to release that a bit later. We are accepting donations. I will definitely post on our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook, our Venmo QR code, so that if you'd like to donate, that you can. After we do the weekend block, we will actually be tallying up all of the donations and divvying them up to give them to the writers for this. In a traditional sense for us, because we did not give parameters when we first started producing these works, we didn't give parameters on like cast size or setting or, how much sound design was done. Because of that, we actually weren't able to pay the writers. But now that we've accumulated donations, we are actually going to take those and then divvy that up and give it to all of the writers who had actually contributed to the shows in Lak Ech, Indigenous, and Blackout. So if you would like to support other artists, even for the work that they've done in the past and their emotional labor, even for a show that you attended for free, please, please donate. Another part of the donations is actually going towards creating, developing, and premiering a brand new work. So we don't know how long this quarantine situation is going to last. We don't know how long theaters are going to be closed. But I can tell you that we can keep the mission going of creating collections of works written about different experiences. And we want to do that in a virtual format to keep up with our mission. So the weekend block will be our last opportunity to sort of accumulate funds in order to create a budget for directing, developing, and premiering a brand new virtual show. Okay. If anyone has any questions, you can always find me and ask me. You can DM me, you can email me, you can ask on our website. You can also put it in the chat. Says this is amazing, pandemic schmandemic. Thank you, Neelima. Oh my gosh, I've missed you so much. So thank you for everybody in attendance. I'm really glad that that you could make it. If you know somebody that would be interested in this and they didn't make it, that's totally fine. By tomorrow, this entire thing will be edited and chopped up and nicely packaged so that you can share this from our YouTube channel. You can share this video, you can give them headphones, you can even share your sensory package if you want to. So if somebody said, oh, I can't make it today, I got something else to do, please share this. Please talk to other people about it. Also, if you're not subscribed, oh my God, this is so YouTube-y. If you're not subscribed, click subscribe and also click the bell to get notifications on when we're doing things. That's so weird. I can't believe we're on YouTube. It's weird. Not weird good. Weird good. But still not where I saw this whole thing going. Isn't that surprising? Anyway, thank you for everybody in attendance. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Share it, talk about it. And most of you know me, so text me or call me to let me know how you feel about it. Okay? Bye.